Broadstone Real Estate is really a combination of a lot of different types of businesses all in one. And it really relates to Amy and her background. Broadstone is both a family business, an institutional investor, and has the spirit of a public company all rolled into one, and it's a unique mix. And all those things draw from Amy's diverse background and has really positioned us to be a leader in the real estate space. Broadstone started triple net lease investing as we know it, and as our flagship product was not particularly well known in the world, and that has grown tremendously over the past 7 or 8 years. When I joined her in 2009, we had maybe 8 employees and a handful of properties, and since that time, she's helped grow our investor base and our funds to be national in scale. And so since that time, we've added more than $2 billion of properties under management. We've started a second fund focused on the residential space, and we've grown and become far more institutional while still maintaining our roots and maintaining our strong focus on investor confidence and governance and really making sure that our investors come first in everything we do.
But Amy was one of the early thinkers when the housing crisis came about in 2008, 2009. Amy spent a lot of time thinking through solutions, and as a result of that, she created Broadtree Homes, which is a real estate investment trust dedicated to single-family homes. Broadtree Homes was one of the first of those to be created. There are several others, but she was one of the early ones. And they have now created a means for people who lost their homes in the housing crisis, who have children and pets and really aren't candidates for apartment living, to be in a house even though their credit wouldn't allow them to get a mortgage.
I was happy and lucky to be involved in the business for 25 years. And it's been, and the word boring does not exist when you're around Amy. She's always full of excitement, always looking at the next opportunity, always thinking very clearly and specifically about those around her, whether it is employees or investors, and can be challenging at times, but challenging is what brings change.
She loves the idea of a new challenge, a new project, and a new way to look at things. And she's very much of the mindset that what worked today may not be tomorrow's future. And she's been on the forefront of that. One of the best examples of that is actually in 2013, we were the first company to utilize a provision that was relatively new in the legislative world called the Jobs Act. And on the first day that we could, we were the first company to file as a 506C company. And it took real vision to do that. And there was not a lot of people who were willing to jump into that space right out of the gate with new legislation that was sort of taking shape, but it was a huge win for us.
Amy is a visionary. She looks at the big picture. She can articulate the big picture for those around her, and I always feel that the leaders need to be able to set that tone, to paint the picture of what we can be or what we will be, and convince people to come along, and that's what she does. She's very enthusiastic. She's also one of the smartest people I've ever met, and she's a wonderful musician. Many people don't know that. But she had a choice when she was in school whether she would go into music or go into engineering, and she chose engineering, which you might wonder, well, why is engineering related to real estate? But it tells you how to figure things out.
And she has done a lot for herself, for her family, for her employees, for her investors, importantly, as well as for the community.
She recently won the Athena Award here in Rochester. She's been recognized by the United Way, the de Tocqueville Award, for example, are a couple, and she's been recognized by the Simon School at the University of Rochester for her great accomplishments. She is extremely generous, and she's a very successful role model for other people who are looking for what attributes you need to be a great leader.
Amy's very creative. Amy is tenacious. I'm not sure Amy sleeps. She is an idea-a-minute person. Sometimes you have to rein her in. But she is very ethical. She cares about her investors. She cares about her employees. And she's also very, very determined.
She embodies a desire to help Rochester grow, and she embodies a desire to grow our company even further. And those two things line up perfectly in the Rochester Hall of Fame.